Hello there, it's Samantha. So today I'm coming to you with my least favorites. These are the most disappointing or just the worst books that I read this year. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they were published this year. I only have 5 because luckily not that many books disappointed me this year. This is in no particular order. So the first one I have to talk about is The Distance Between Us by Casey West. I don't think I'd previously read a book by Casey West, but I'd heard that she was a really good contemporary author. All of her books were super cute and super fun. I picked this up on Kindle a few years ago when it was only 99p, and I finally got around to reading it this summer, and I was expecting so much because I'd heard that her books were really cute, but I found this book to be so boring. We saw this girl called Cayman, and she worked at her mom's doll store. They sold these porcelain dolls, and then one day this rich kid comes in, the guy. He's like a complete asshole to her, but for some reason she's intrigued, and she keeps on seeing him just out and about, and then they become friends, and then they become more than friends. It's your typical hate to love story. It was just really boring and stereotypical. There was really nothing special about it, and I think I only gave that one 2 stars. The second book on my list is one that came out on the 28th of December of this year, and I actually got an ARC copy from a book signing because they just gave us ARCs, and it sounded like it was going to be so funny. So I decided to read it, and that was The Unpredictability of Being Human by Linni Ingemansen. I don't know how to say it. The author is Norwegian and their name is confusing. This book is actually set in Norway, which is slightly interesting. I read this book in December. I read it really quickly actually because the chapters are really short and it's quite a short book anyway, but it was so boring. This book is about a character called Malin. I don't know how you say her name. She is 14, which is quite a bit younger than me. That probably did not help with my enjoyment because I am 19 now, so this is a bit younger than me. Basically, the back intrigued me, and it even says a darkly comic and captivating coming-of-age story from a groundbreaking new voice. It was not funny, so I don't get what this a darkly comic thing is about, and it was not captivating. I did finish it really quickly, but that's because I wanted it to be over. It's about a main character called Malin, whatever her name is, who literally is just going about life, just going to school. She's a complete weirdo. She does some really weird things. She's a really odd character to read from. I don't even know what to say about this book. The character is just so strange, and she makes the stupidest decisions I've ever read. She was so naive, and I just didn't like it at all, and I thought it would be a good book, but I'm afraid it was not my cup of tea, and I only gave this one 2 stars as well. The next book on my list is one that was disappointing because I had heard such good things about this book. It sounded like it would be really interesting and thrilling, and it's something I don't really know much about, so I was excited to learn more. But that book was The Girls by Emma Cline. This book, if you don't know, is based on the things that happened with the Manson family. They murdered some people, and it's told from the point of view of this girl called Evie, who is like the newest addition to this cult. She's 14 or 15 when the book starts. She's just living life. It's all pretty ordinary. She's kind of fed up with it, and one day she's at the park and she sees these 3 girls, and they look different from everyone else, and she is just captivated from that point onwards. She wants to know them. She wants to be a part of whatever they're part of, and she ends out eventually going to the ranch where they all live. All sorts of things happen, but the problem with this book was that it was really boring for a lot of it, I found, but most of the story was just getting to know Evie, getting to know why she joined this thing. I don't know, it was just really dull to me. Everything that happened that was interesting happened in literally the last 30 pages, and I really feel like that should have been developed more. It was just a big disappointment because I'd heard really great reviews, so I only ended up giving this one 2 out of 5 stars. The next book I have is probably my biggest disappointment of the year because I've heard good things about this book for years, and I finally got to it, and then I hated it, and that book was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I know that some people are going to be like, how can you hate that book? But I'm sorry. I don't like it. It's awful, in my opinion. It was boring. I hated all the characters. There were so many pop culture references that it was overkill. It needed to stop. I just thought that, this would be great maybe if you're really into video games and 1980s pop culture, but I was not, and I did not enjoy this. I don't get where all the hype comes from with this. It was so boring. This one was super disappointing because I was expecting so much because I'd heard so many good reviews. I think I gave this one 1.5 out of 5 stars. Now, the final book on my list is one of the few 1-star books of the year, and that is Meadowtown by Kristen Simmons. I got this book in a fairy loot box. I would not have picked it up had it not been in a fairy loot box because this book is dystopian. I have gone off of dystopian. I am sick of dystopian. It's all the same. Most of them are the same, and I'm sick of it. Like, I still love The Hunger Games, and I will reread The Hunger Games and rewatch The Hunger Games movies forever. But dystopian is just an out-of-date genre for me. I'm sick of it. And this book just reinforced my hatred for the genre. This book was literally every other dystopian book out there, but worse. It was boring, and I didn't like any of the characters, and it ended in the same exact way to a very popular dystopian series. I will not say which because that is a spoiler, but I wouldn't suggest reading it. Oh, it was just so bad. I'm done. I'm done talking about it. It was awful. So these were the top 5 books that I hated this year. Anyway, that is going to be all for today's video. Please share down below some of your least favorite books of the year. I'd love to know. And if I talked about one of your favorite books ever, I apologize sincerely, but we are all entitled to our own opinions. That is just my opinion. Anyway, that's going to be all. So if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. I do not have a regular uploading schedule at the moment, so if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, you can go ahead and click that notification icon down below or down there. Who knows where it is, but it's down there somewhere. Anyway, that's going to be all, so I'll see you hopefully soon with another video. Bye!